Attention viewing personnel. You're currently accessing a classified archival tape covering an anomalous biological asset, specifically SCP-999. Now, I need to stress right up front that the following assessment is to be treated with absolute operational severity. Any emotional compromise, or really any deviation from standard observational protocols while you're reviewing this briefing, well, it's going to be noted in your personnel file. As a senior archivist, it's my job to make sure you fully understand the clinical parameters of this entity. We aren't here to be charmed by it. We are strictly here to understand its strategic viability. Here is the briefing index we'll be following today. We're going to start with containment and security directives, then move into the anomalous biological composition. After that, we'll cover olfactory and psychological phenomena, the dietary protocols and hazards, and finally, cross-testing and strategic utility. Let's get right into it. Section 1. Containment and security directives. The procedures for this asset are a bit irregular, but they are strictly enforced by Site Command. Step 1 establishes a facility free roam protocol. Essentially, SCP-999 is actually allowed to roam the facility grounds freely during the day. Step 2, however, mandates a strict curfew. Sometime between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., it has to be returned to its pen for its sleep cycle. It is absolutely forbidden from leaving the pen at night, and under zero circumstances is it allowed off the facility grounds. Now, Step 3 supersedes everything else. If we have an emergency lockdown, SCP-999 has to be immediately secured in its pen for its own preservation. There are also strict rules about interaction. Anyone on staff can go into its holding area, but you are only authorized to interact with it if you're officially on break or have no active operational tasks. The pen itself has to be kept meticulously clean, and food needs to be replaced twice a day. And if the asset starts showing signs of understimulation, or what we colloquially call boredom, authorized staff are told to engage with it using a calm, completely non-threatening tone of voice. Moving on to Section 2, Anomalous Biological Composition. The physical makeup of this asset deviates pretty heavily from standard terrestrial biology. It has a mass of exactly 54 kilograms, which is right around 120 pounds. Physically, it presents as this large, amorphous, gelatinous mass of translucent orange slime. If you're wondering about the texture, personnel consistently report that its structural consistency feels exactly like standard store-bought peanut butter. Its morphology is also incredibly malleable. When it's just sitting there at rest, SCP-999 looks like a rounded, oblate dome, about 2 meters wide and 1 meter high. But when it's active, things change. Its exterior is actually this thin, transparent hydrophobic membrane, maybe half a centimeter thick, sort of like an animal cell. And it is hyperelastic. It can actually flatten parts of its mass down to just 2 centimeters thin if it needs to. Right beneath that outer membrane, the entire internal structure is just this viscous orange substance. I'll be honest, Foundation biochemists still have absolutely no idea what the precise chemical makeup of this stuff is. What we do know from operational testing is that it acts as a highly efficient biological solvent. It easily digests organic materials, which is fascinating considering the entity completely lacks traditional digestive organs. Let's look at Section 3, Olfactory and Psychological Phenomena. This asset doesn't just occupy physical space. It actually alters the neurochemistry and sensory perception of anyone near it. The surface of SCP-999 gives off these anomalous olfactory emissions, basically smells, that dynamically change depending on exactly who it's interacting with. Our researchers have logged a huge variety of scents. We're talking chocolate, fresh laundry, bacon, roses, and even Play-Doh. And this targeted sensory manipulation seems to be completely involuntary on the part of the subjects. Now, physical contact causes even more extreme psychological shifts. Just touching SCP-999 triggers an immediate, mild euphoria. If you maintain contact, that elation intensifies and actually sticks around long after you separate. Its primary behavioral anomaly is just this overwhelming joy when you approach it. It emits these high-pitched gurgling and cooing sounds, and it routinely leaps onto personnel, wrapping them up with 2 pseudopods and nuzzling their face with a third. The official clinical term documented by our staff for this operational maneuver is tickle wrestling. It essentially envelops the subject from the neck down to induce extreme, physically incapacitating joy. I know the behavior sounds infantile, almost dog-like, but the psychological impact is incredibly profound. It has a very targeted affinity for personnel who are injured or psychologically compromised. We have staff dealing with severe PTSD or crippling depression who show a drastically improved psychological baseline after just a few interactions. Because of this, our pharmacological divisions are actively looking into synthesizing clinical antidepressants directly from SCP-999 slime. Which brings us to Section 4, dietary protocols, and nutritional hazards. Keeping this asset chemically stable requires extremely strict dietary adherence. It exclusively eats candies and high-sugar sweets. Its primary preferred items are M&Ms and Necco wafers, and it absolutely refuses to consume any meat. Interestingly, it seems to have a deep affection for all animals, especially humans. We actually have logs of it leaping into active ballistic crossfire just to shield personnel. And when it does feed, as I mentioned earlier, it uses an amoeba-like method to envelop and digest the food. But introducing unauthorized chemicals is a major operational hazard. I'm going to read you a direct excerpt from Addendum A regarding a pretty serious incident. SCP-999 is not to consume caffeinated soft drinks. Carbonation made SCP-999 visibly queasy. Staff member reprimanded. Someone gave it a cola and it was literally bouncing off the walls before becoming physically ill. Adherence to the approved dietary index isn't a suggestion, it's mandatory. Finally, Section 5, Cross-Testing and Strategic Utility. We need to review the highly classified events of Addendum B. Foundation Command actually authorized an experimental cross-test where they deployed SCP-999 directly into the containment perimeter of SCP-682. As a reminder, SCP-682 is a highly adaptive, unkillable reptilian entity whose entire existence is defined by an absolute, omnicidal rage against all organic life. The goal here was to see if SCP-999's tactile-induced euphoria could pacify our absolute most hostile asset. At first, it went exactly how you'd expect. 682 started growling, expressed vocal disgust, and immediately stepped on SCP-999, just completely flattening it. But then, things shifted in a way we had never seen before. SCP-999 slithered between the reptile's toes, wrapped around its neck, and started nuzzling it. And SCP-682 actually started to chuckle. Over a few minutes, that chuckle escalated to non-stop, bellowing laughter. We observed this wildly hostile entity rolling on its back, slamming its tail around, and actively engaging in a tickle fight until it practically passed out from exhaustion with a visible smile on its face. But the pacification was entirely temporary. After about 15 minutes, 2 D-Class personnel were sent in to retrieve 999. The very second physical contact was broken, SCP-682 instantly woke up. It unleashed this unidentifiable, anomalous wave of energy while laughing maniacally. Every single person caught in that radius collapsed into crippling fits of laughter, completely defenseless. This, predictably, led to a containment breach where 682 slaughtered all the incapacitated staff. But during that massacre, SCP-999 was actually dragging wounded personnel to safety while our tactical agents suppressed the reptile. After we recontained everything, SCP-999 showed absolutely zero signs of trauma and actually wanted to go back and interact with 682 again. SCP-682's official statement on the event, however, is heavily redacted. The entity stated for the record, "That feculent little unintelligible can data expunged and die." So, what does this all mean? Yes, the loss of life during Addendum B was a localized tragedy, but the data we gathered is statistically invaluable. For a brief window of time, an unstoppable, omnicidal force was totally neutralized. It was brought to a state of profound vulnerability just through anomalous tactile euphoria. The strategic implications of that are absolutely massive. Could this infantile, peanut butter-scented slime actually be the key to pacifying the Foundation's most catastrophic threats? That's the operational potential you need to consider as you head back to your respective sectors. End of briefing.
This concludes today's briefing. If you wish to maintain your current clearance level and ensure continued access to the Versarian database, a subscription to this channel is mandatory. Secure your connection by leaving a like on this file, and log your requests in the comments section below to dictate which anomaly we unseal next. Stay vigilant and expect your next set of logs every day. Secure, contain, protect.